Hey guys, this is Max Carton's YouTube channel, so please subscribe, hit all the notification bell buttons and whatever buttons you can press and get his channel. So hi guys, this is the video studio, and this is kind of the room where we have extra pedals and amps. There's a Fender Bassman. I think it's a Blackface 64, needs to be double checked, but that's an amp here. That I own for, I don't know, 20 years. As you can see, some delay pedals in this shelf. Then there's fuzzes, Jimi Hendrix Octa fuzz. There's what is it? The Russian,
Russian muff,
big muff, and you know, other big muff deluxe, blah blah blah. There's boosters, tube boosters, Rotenberg tube screamer. The original box of my tube screamer. Oh, this
DS808.
Yeah, from whatever year.
The one everybody
this
loves
box
to rave
cost a lot
about.
of money, so I leave it here. And this box is a Friedman box, and it costs not much money. Anyway, there's a tube compressor that I like a lot. There's some Effect Road is the company, a Mojo Vibe. I have tons of vibes. There's another vibe here, which is the Deja Vibe. There's a Roger Meyer vibe that I played for many years, but just too big to put on a pedal board these days. There's another
Roto Vibe,
as you can see, Small Stone Phaser, Wawas. Here is some more guitars and cables and stuff. There's power soaps. There's my Vox AC30. There's my Super Reverb. There's a Super Reverb. There's AC30 in pieces, pedal boards, cabinets, the ISO cap, more pedals in here. Yeah, I mean, underneath here is the full range of the light speed. You know, this is what I use in the tremolos.
Nice.
Blah blah blah. So, but let's move to the other room, which is the actual video studio. And here we see a lot of video here. And we see a Usenkentner Triumph Mark II, which has been my gigging amp for over a decade. Modified not on the circuitry, but with selecting tubes.
Yeah.
So there are tons of selected things in there. By the way,
it's now a very nice stand for any drinks that we should enjoy during the show. Or
it can be used for many things. Here, as we can see, it's still for moving house. A little wrap up, so I put them all. There's all my signature pedals that I've done with ex-wife company. Low gain overdrives, high gain overdrives, booster pedals, blah blah blah. There's an Echo Man, which is a nice Memory Man bucket bridge delay in a small format that I've also worked with my Chinese friends from ex-wife. So there's a Tube King Echo, overdrive with a real tube in there. There's a homemade overdrive on a Marshall foot switch. So some of those handmade stuff I've done. And Hardwire, by the way, is the reverb. It's pretty good. It's a Lexicon type reverb in a pedal. If you get one of these RV7s, you get a good quality reverb for cheap. And there are more pedals on this side, but let's talk about amps. This one is my 1980 Sim 50 watt. And this has been used, wait a minute, is this the one? Yeah, this is my main amp, one of the first. I mean, it's an aluminum panel. It's not a real plexi, but it's maybe
69, 70. It's still the small head case, so it's right after the plexis.
Yeah.
Basically,
it is a plexi.
Just a metal panel.
Yeah, just a metal panel. And this amp is really good. It has been used on many recordings. One of my main go-to amps. And as you can see, I switched it off many times. And I gigged with that a lot too. When I founded my first 3-piece band, this was the amp where I forced myself to learn how to play a 3-piece with a proper Marshall and no power soak. So I started from the real deal and then try to make it work.
And that was Dreist?
Dreist. My German 3-piece band Dreist. It is that band that I formed for that, and then it was a nice experience. Yeah.
By the way, if you want to hear this one, it is in Academy of Tone number 57. We did some AC/DC riffs on it, and you can check it out. I really like that one.
Me too. This is a 100-watt Marshall that is highly modded to be more flexible. It features a switchable input capacitor. So if you are familiar with the precision drive, I've done this like 20 years ago. It's the same thing. It has an extra boost stage like the Jose mod, which is switchable. So I can make it original or I can switch it in, and here I dial in the amount of boost. It has a master volume. It is like a 800 and whatever, kind of, one of those Marshall mashup mods with anything in it.
A fun modded Marshall, yeah.
So this is my Black Flag GTM. It's a 100-watt PA. What I like about PAs is you have more knobs and you have more options. And this is modded in a way that I can have it all original here. Then I have the total stack volume of these two channels here. And when I switch this, flick the switch, I have the 800 circuit with gain and master here, and the tone control present. So this is my personal 800.
It's effectively a super lead and an 800 in one. Normally you have super lead in these 4 holes with those two, and you have, I think this is super bass or something like that for those two, but you use that tube for a nice JCM 800 cascaded type of thing.
And I liked that amp always because of its better warmth. There's some great 800s made in the 80s, but with the old transformers and the old tubes and the old caps, for me as a vintage guy, it's the ultimate 800.
They are so warm and they react very nice, and the 800s, they can be so bright and punishing, and
which is good for other people. The circuitry is great, but it's like this is the same cooking recipe, but with the old ingredients. Vintage.
Nice mustard caps, the nice transformers, and maybe you even had some more on the cold clipper stage to get it more juicy, whatever. So it's a dream 800 and super lead in one.
And this is my 1957 Tweed Deluxe Fender, which is a great amp. It is the 5F6 model, that model that everybody talks about. I don't even care about the model numbers. Now it's became famous, but I have this amp for 20 years and I bought it cheap because, nobody, I would be stupid to buy an amp like that today. It's all that shit is way too expensive. And the simplicity of that amp is what it makes it so great. 6v6 tubes, only one tone, and the 2 volume controls, and they interact. It's a very basic design, and it's a small amp, but it sounds so big. And it's Larry Carton favorites and killer amp. Underneath this is my Fender Princeton, which is a silver face, and it's was my first Fender I ever bought for the studio to have a good clean tone, and it still is a good amp to have a great clean tone, so therefore I haven't sold it. This is the chassis of my twin reverb. I mean the speaker, the electronics is next room. But this is, you know, the housing of the twin reverb. Serves with casters, is a nice stand for Marshalls. And I've modeled the speakers in the blue box, but the 2x12, yeah, with the GBLs, the orange ones. That's another 100 watt PA Plexi, but a little later. This one, the GTM, has the real Plexi panel. This is a GMP metal panel, and this is modded in another way than this one. It's more a personal mod where I try to get my Strat thicker and more Les Paul sounding.
Yeah.
You know, tweaking a few caps here and there to get a big nice tone. It's used on one of my albums, but you know, I have too many of these amps. So
any idea which year it is?
No.
Does it have a brown turret board or a white one? You know?
Oh, I don't know.
No worries.
I have done it. We can look up the serial, but
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's similar period, end 60s. It's definitely not it must be around 70. But,
yeah.
You know.
Whatever,
exactly. And this is my GTM 45, which is I think 1965. This is like one of the most expensive ones in the collection, and I paid some money for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about a few thousand, but not as much as we have to pay for it today. When I bought it, people thought, "Oh, you buy this expensive amplifier?" I said, "Yeah, but I like it."
Yeah. And now they are jealous because there are not a lot around, and especially if it's in nice condition like this one, it's really in really great condition for a JTM 45, which is really cool to have that one in your arsenal. And yeah, if you ever decide to sell it, I guess
there are a few people interested, but you know, it's one of those. It's actually a great amp, so I keep it.
A nice reference point.
A reference point for other things we do here. There is a modded tube factor by Occo, you know, the German pedal maker. He offered that mod and I like it. It's a bit complicated, but it sounds good. Gives you more variations out of that pedal. There's, you know, Replex, tube tape echo. There's some nice Vox Vavas, you know, the original 60 whatever with a Farcel coil or I have them all.
McCoy.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Then I have a few amp ones which are special mods for Klockmann style mod. Just experiments, you know. It's like you tell me what you want and we try to do and see what we think. And this is one of a kind, and there's a special high gain mod, and that's kind of in between versions from Mercury to Iridium.
Yeah.
And these are released. You know,
these are experiments to try out stuff for in the future, and
and it's good to have them because I'm more the practical kind of guy. It's in theory you can do anything, but you have to do it. You have to realize it, and you have to work with it, and maybe even give it to somebody else and get their reaction.
Yeah.
To get a thumbs up or maybe not.
Yeah.
I've got too many guitars here. Yeah, by the way, this is my 57 rip-off guitar, which is a 68 or 9.
It's a 68. Yeah. It has the crown here, or some people call it the pineapple or the frog, which is it is like a 52 reissue, and there are humbuckers in there right now.
It has been repainted by Matthias Schindehütte guy, and he has done a brilliant job. I like you know, I showed him, I always wanted to have a 57, but I couldn't afford it. So this is kind of something that should do the job of a 57.
But a 68 is still something that many people cannot afford, so it is
I bought it cheap.
Very nice.
My 61 Strat, we have an extra video on that, and this is the rest of the video studio with, you know, the gear from my perspective.
Little tube screamer here.
Yep, which is a classic, and my DD2, and you know, there's other pedals here like the Horizon. Then actually that's a nice pedal too. Nobles, the ODR-S, which is the big brother of the ODR-1 or OD1 or what is it?
ODR-1. Yes.
ODR-1.
The Tom Shanks, Tim Pierce natural overdrive.
This is the more flexible version of it. It is not as puristic, but that's another Marshall in the box pedal in case your amp isn't doing it.
Yeah.
So that's everybody talks about the other pedal. I talk about this pedal. So
it's basically an ODR-1 with a full tone stack.
Yeah. It has a bit different gain things too. I compared them. I'm not saying the other one is better or worse. They are two great pedals. I talk about this pedal. So by your yes, yeah. And then there's a Dynacomp compressor, and there's a blah homemade booster, and there's some nice treble boosters, and there's a Chula, and there's a homemade booster, and there's a Dynacomp compressor, and there's a Torpedo Cap M, and there's a and
a lot of stuff.
We have seen there's more stuff. And to finish up the pedals, my Range Master treble booster.
Nice.
Because it's looking so cool on a Marshall, because it's the original recipe.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for showing us around the studio and all the amps. Of course, it's a really cool collection. But yeah, most of the tones, of course, we can have with these beautiful boxes. So yeah, if you want, you can check it out on the live streams with Thomas. They are doing weekly live streams on Wednesday. And you can check it out for yourself. They are all the time comparing it to these real deal museum grade amazing amps. And
we have a switcher here, which is this whatever KHE. So we can switch from the amp 1 to like one of the Marshalls or another one, and not changing anything else. So we can really AB the best gear with the new gear.
Yeah, it's a real-time experience, and there is no bullshitting on the show. There are really cables going into the amps and into the switcher,
and no extra.
And Thomas is the real deal, so no bullshit here.
Okay. Thanks. Cheers, guys.